Welcome back to another episode of the Paradigm Shift. I am Big Rob, back with Jesse, as always, my partner in crime. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, man. Looking forward to a great episode today. Today's topic has got a lot of color to it. The celebrities that have lost their minds, that are in conservatorship. I figure this is a well that never runs dry.
Amen to that, man. Now, there's a lot of controversy in that I've seen in regards to celebrities kind of going off the deep end and stuff like that. And I mean, obviously, one of the biggest conspiracy theories is that the whole Diddy situation and the Epstein situation and all that stuff. Certain celebrities refuse to participate in these kinds of collective activities, to make it to sum it up. And conspiracy theories that I've heard and read about are that a lot of times, if they don't participate, they're threatened that their careers will be over or destroyed or whatever the case might be. So they end up kind of self-destructing themselves, either because they did something that they can't live with, or they've done something to kind of self-destruct and destroy their own careers in the near term before something can be done. Like Dave Chappelle, for example, said that, famously said that he went somewhere, didn't get into great detail, was told to do some things and participate in some things. He refused. By the time he got home from that meeting, there was already news on national television, with all of the accusations going on with him, and his career took a nosedive immediately, right?
Really? I don't even think I know this story. Yeah, you're going to have to elaborate on this one.
I'll see if I can find it. If you have some thoughts, I'll kind of see if I can find it quickly. But yeah, he talked about it on one of his comedy specials, I think it was, and he said, like, he was basically offered, your career can go up from here, because at that time he had the Dave Chappelle show going on and everything. He was kind of starting to peak, right? And he was offered, I don't remember exactly what it was, to participate in this, that, or the other thing. He said, "Hell no!" Right? What did Bob Finger say to the face? Slap.
Slap.
He said he left that meeting. By the time he got in his car and drove home, by the time he got home, they were destroying his career on the news. I can't remember what it was they were accusing him of, but it just immediately, right?
So, I remember that point in time, and I remember how popular the Chappelle show was. Like, literally everybody was watching it, right? And I can remember, like, Lil Jon at the airport, or when he was comparing how black and white people react to drums or guitars. like there were some really great skits, and it seemed like he was really peaking out. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was like, Chappelle has ended his show. He's moving to Africa. He's going to live on a farm. I think that's what I heard. And then it was like he just disappeared for like a decade. And now, he's back and he's on Netflix with all these specials. But I never knew there was like a backstory there, or a threat, or what drove him out the door. Like, I didn't know if it was just too much and he said, that's it, I'm on top, and I left, or if there was like a catalyst event, like somebody was trying to blackmail him or something,
Yeah, he was being coerced. Let me see. I don't know if this is it or not, so I'm going to play a little bit of it and see if this is actually it.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't get like copyright or anything like that.
On stage, the guy that introduced me was a guy named J.T. Newton. I'm 47. I can close my eyes and remember the introduction like it was yesterday. It went like this. Ladies and gentlemen,
that's exposing Comedy Central. That's not it. Let's see if I can find it. It was why he quit. Here we go.
Do this. Well, he just quit something that was popular when you're at the very top of it. Lucky for me, when I quit, I went to Africa. So there was a media storm that I didn't hear. By the time I got back, everyone was just looking at me crazy. That was a very difficult decision to make. The entire world told me I was crazy, but I was sure I was being true to myself and to something that I learned at Ellington. I'm one of those comedians that thought of himself as an artist. I was enamored by what the genre could do. It was like the pictures that I could paint with words and the way I could engage with audiences. I understood as it was happening. I was very lucky to be able to do this. And I protected that. And I knew that if I took the money, they would expect me to behave differently. And I wasn't willing to accept. So I quit. And when I quit, it was a very difficult time in my life that I'll spare you the details, but man, fuck show business. It was tough.
Okay, then.
I was in Panama City, Panama, and I was at a hotel, and I looked at the lobby. There was a painting of Abraham Lincoln. And then I would look closer. It wasn't a painting. It was all pennies, just pennies on a black canvas arranged into the face of Abraham Lincoln. And I asked the guy, I said, how much is that painting worth? He said, $600,000, sir. And I looked at the pennies that made up the painting, and I was like, that's like $300 worth of pennies. Light bulb went in my head. I realized the value of art. Some of the biggest wars and crimes and scandals in history were financed through the theft of art. Art is a powerful commodity. And artists, if you're good at it, should never behave as a commodity. It's a tough one.
Okay, then.
And then I gave up. I said, this is probably it. I accepted the fact that the career I thought I was going to have was over, but I started to rediscover just my art for its own sake. I would go to comedy clubs and I worked for way less money than I ever had, and I enjoyed it more than any of the work I ever did. It was probably the best work I'll ever do, because it was so honest. It was so sincere. There was no media, there was no studio, there was no scrutiny, just me and the crowds. And I did it night after night, and slowly but surely the crowds got bigger and bigger. And then suddenly people started to notice, and Polestar would say, Dave Chappelle has the tour of the year. And again, and then the year after that, and then the year after that. And then Lorne Michaels asked me to do Saturday Night Live. And it wasn't just like he asked me, he was courting me. I didn't even know it. He gave me this whole long speech. I was like, all right. And then I read some book about Lorne Michaels starting Saturday Night Live, and I read the speech that he gave Richard Pryor when he wanted him to host the show, and I said, holy shit, that's the same shit he said to me. And I did it. And that was an enormous amount of pressure. It had been 12 years since I had been on television, or since I had even talked to the media. And I remember I signed my Netflix contract on my way to my mark for the monologue. If you do live television, they count down every second. 30 seconds. Are you sure this contract is good? It's good, just sign the paper, it's good. 22 seconds. Oh, nigga, you better not be tricking me. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I walked out on that stage and I killed it. It was natural. It was nothing. It was easy work. Got an Emmy for that one too. First Emmy I won. And when I walked on the stage, after being in the cold for so long, for the first time when I walked on the stage, I'm like, damn, nigga, I just made it outside all night. It's been great ever since. A lot of my friends are athletes, and I never could understand.
I don't think he's going into further detail about, but at the beginning, you heard him talk about why he left there. I want to find the one where he goes into detail about it. And he just talks about how, yeah, he went to this meeting and they told him, you know, either we're going to, like I said at the beginning, either your career is going to go skyrocketing from here or we're going to destroy your career based on, you know, and he kind of glazed over it in that, saying I didn't want to take the money, so I left. But I wanted to find the one with the great detail in it.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like they wanted to put a muzzle on him, control him, and it kind of reminds me of you hear a lot about things like this in the music industry. Um, you usually don't hear it so much with comedy, but definitely in music, you hear about it all the time where these these A&R record executives try to muzzle them and make them do certain records and certain things, and the bands half the time are just like, god, they're just trying to like get out of the contract. And then even at the end of the contract, a lot of times they don't even own their own music at the end of it. And then, it gets even worse from there. And then, like, that's why you weirdly see them like re-record songs and stuff like that later, and it's like, this isn't the original. Well, it's because somebody else owns the original.
Yeah. Another one is Kanye West. Now that one, I don't think he was pressured into like from the powers that be into anything. I think that he's just an asshole, right? I mean, how many years in a row did he go up when somebody won an award, and did he just storm up on stage? Remember that back in the early mid 2000s?
Yep.
And he would he'd go up there and go on a rant about how he should have won, and who he did it to quite a few celebrities. It's just like, they blamed it on bipolar disorder and stuff. You doing something like that, I don't think it's because you're bipolar. I think you're just an asshole.
Yeah, I think he tries to be something that gets headlines, right?
Polarizing.
Yeah, very, very polarizing. And I can remember back in time, he had an album or two before his kind of peak that he had, and the peak was like that Gold Digger song.
Yeah.
And in that particular album, I remember that album. It was pretty good. I actually really liked it at the time. And then after that, he went off the deep end, like completely. And I don't know if it's because he hooked up with Kim K and just lost his shit, or like that whole family just drove him batshit insane and he's never recovered from it. But like today, he was trying to like sell merch as like a Nazi or something, and he's like, yeah, I endorse Trump, like he makes these kind of like statements that are kind of like, huh, that's interesting, that makes you go, oh, okay. And then like he and Kim split, and his current, I think they're married, current wife, I guess, I don't know if you remember, they went to one of the events over the last year or two, and she's wearing like a shower curtain, like a see-through shower curtain, completely 100% naked.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, what? Like, what are you doing, man? And I think at one point, you talk about celebrities going nuts, and some of that could be like driven by like the paparazzi always hounding them nonstop. And I remember at one point, I think he moved to like Wyoming, and again, like he literally like went off the reservation out there,
And look at some of the stuff he wears too, though. I mean, I've never seen, you don't see many celebrities that are that extreme that go, poor me, leave me alone, give me my privacy. But then they'll wear the most ridiculous things out in public. It's like a girl wearing almost nothing at the gym and then saying, look at these guys are staring at me. It's like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You can always tell when somebody has too much money because they dress just ridiculous. Like, I've seen a few of these people recently where like their shoes are kind of like if you took like a rain boot and it was just sort of spilling off the top. And it's like, that's not a shoe. Like, it's like a slip on. It looks like you got like barrel feet. and I know you probably paid like thousands of dollars for these crazy shoes, but you look ridiculous,
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got Britney Spears.
Oof.
What the hell happened there, man? Like, I don't even know what the rumor is on how she went so far off the reservation. I know that she was huge in the early 2000s, right? And I mean, she even like dated Justin Timberlake for a while, and like there's all this stuff. And then she ends up getting knocked up by one of her backup dancers who tries to have a career as a rapper, and that didn't work. I don't even remember his name. That's how
Federline. That's Federline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now she has how many kids? I don't even know, but I mean, it makes you feel old.
Two, right? Is it just two?
Two sons?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's two, but you always know when a woman is batshit crazy because the dad has full custody. Like that's like a dead giveaway that she's completely Looney Tunes, you know?
Yeah. Well, I keep getting these little clips that pop up. Like, if you're on Facebook or something, and because like me and my son, for example, will go through the little short clips because he likes the little animated comedy things, right? And also the clips where people are on skateboards and stuff and they wipe out, and he laughs at that stuff. So anyway, we're watching those, and every once in a while the Britney Spears one will pop up, and she's like doing some sort of knife dance in her living room or something. I'm like, what the hell is with this woman? What happened? Right?
Well, she actually, I think she got worse after the incident with Victor Wembanyama's security, where I don't know if you saw this. It was like in Vegas, and I think it was for like the All-Star game or something like that. And he's walking through, this big time Vegas casino, and she comes walking up behind him, like to say like hi to him or whatever. And his security turned around and like slapped the shit out of her. Like, Britney. Yeah, and everyone was like, "Whoa!" Like, what the hell just happened? And then since then, she keeps posting like the crazy knife dancing videos, and you could tell she's. I don't know if she's still on. It's got to be multiple medications, right? I mean,
well, Britney and Justin Bieber are two cases for me that are like celebrities that ended up doing something like the Diddy parties, for example, and just can't find a way to live it down. I mean, there's clips of like 40-year-old women at award ceremonies with Justin Bieber on stage. I can't remember who it was, but she's trying to force him to kiss her and stuff like that, like right up on stage. He's like 13, she's like 40, and like all that kind of stuff. And it fucks them up for life.
Well, Britney made headlines just recently that she's apparently now on OnlyFans.
Okay. Why?
I don't know why anyone would want to watch that, but apparently she is. But Bieber, going back to Bieber, supposedly he was in the Diddy circle for a while.
Yeah.
And Diddy is known to be with both sides. So I would not doubt it if some weird shit happened at a Diddy party, either with or without Diddy and Bieber and whoever else,
Well, Bieber went from like a wholesome kind of kid, right? And I know that they kind of, I remember there was some stories going around. They were trying to blame his mom, right? Of being a negligent mother or whatever the case might be, right? But he went from like wholesome kid from like, what was he on? Was it Disney or Nickelodeon or whatever the hell it was when his career started, right? Where a lot of those, like Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears, they all started like that, right? But he went from that kind of a kid to all of a sudden he's tattooed from the neck to the toes. He's giving cameras the finger. He's sagging his pants. You're just like, how did this happen? How did this monumental personality shift take place in such a quick, the same thing. You could say the same thing about Miley Cyrus.
Oh God. Yeah.
Right. Same thing. Boom. All of a sudden she's just this Madonna.
Hold on a sec. So going back to Miley, I think Miley was rebelling, and she knew she went probably too far, right? I think she was aware of it. Whereas like with Bieber, I think Bieber's just depressed. Like, he got on stage at one of the recent music, shows, right? The Grammys, or it was probably the Grammys that he was on there, and it was like he was the stage was like him in the middle of the audience, kind of like he's in his bedroom or something. Like he's got no shirt on. I mean, he looks like he just did like one massive hit of heroin, you know, and he's just kind of in there doing his doing his thing halfway out of it. And yeah, I gotta agree with you, man. Like he kind of had that wholesome image for a long time. You know, I saw a picture of him recently where he was at some event and Usher's there, and he's holding the Usher's shirt like he's ready to just punch him out. And
Yeah.
Usher's kind of like, whoa, you know? And it's like, boy, this is like not good, you know?
You don't want to get punched out by Justin Bieber in
Yeah,
public.
by Bieber. Yeah.
Your career is probably over.
Well, you know who else kind of reminds me of Bieber is Shia LaBeouf, right? From like the Transformer movie. He's the same way, man. He's got like a goatee. He went full tats. Like he's ready to like kill somebody today.
Well, it's funny because I see a lot of his clips now, and he's constantly having these breakdowns, emotional breakdowns on camera and stuff like that. And he's constantly now. And again, I'm a Christian, right? And I'm not perfect, but I watch him and he starts preaching about God, right? In every clip I see him in recently. But then he's throwing in the same time he's talking about his faith and all this stuff, but the profanity that he's throwing into it and all of this, and it's just kind of contradicting what he's saying, right?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, it kind of just sounds to me like he's searching for God, for Jesus, but he hasn't found him.
Yeah, I don't
Right?
think so. I agree.
No, I don't think he's found him because he hasn't made that change. You know, maybe he will one day. I hope that he does. But at the end of the day, right now, yeah, he's still struggling mentally and emotionally. You can tell, right?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah,
though?
Who?
Why though? Like the Transformers kid. Like I can't understand why.
Yeah.
I've had this debate with my wife a few, not debate, but conversation with my wife a few times, and I'm constantly asking, like, if I am a rich celebrity and I'm peaking in my career or whatever, I'm just starting to reach my peak. I've got all the money in the world, all this stuff, and I'm like, why do they always seem to turn to drugs and alcohol and all this stuff? I'm like, I don't understand. You have the world at your fingertips and you're choosing substance abuse. I don't get it, right? And I understand that there's probably a lot of stress, a lot of lack of privacy, a lot of, you know, invasiveness in your life that we probably don't see, right?
Yeah.
And I'll grant that. And like you said, probably heavy depression and stuff like that, but there's ways of navigating these things without turning to drugs and alcohol. And my wife brought up a good point. She said, most likely because when you get up that high on a pedestal, it's kind of like, well, what do you do from here?
Yeah.
Right? How do you get bored when you can do anything, go anywhere, and it's not have anything that you want, and you don't even have to think about how much money it's going to cost you or anything. You can just go, right? Because you have so much money. It's like you kind of don't really want to do anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I think was a good kind of opposite view of this just recently was when I don't know if you saw when Michael B. Jordan won the Oscar for Sinners, right? And he's one of these guys that, I mean, he's like dialed in, right? I mean, he is full on committed 100%. Anything else it's like a gnat in the room. He's just going to swat it away.
Yeah.
And so after he won the Oscar, you know, he went to like the In-N-Out burger and, you know, everybody couldn't believe it. And he's there with his entourage. And they're like, hell yeah, you know, and they're like celebrating and stuff. But shortly after that, Kim K came out and she said something on like X or somewhere that basically insinuated she wanted to date him. Like she thinks he's hot, you know, and, you know, obviously he's on top of the world and all these things. And he responded to her and he's like, respectfully declined. Don't make this about you. Like, I'm not taking the bait. Ain't gonna happen. Good luck. Have a good life. I mean, he was like cold, like cold to her.
She got the Britney Spears treatment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he definitely gave her the Britney treatment.
Well, he saw what she did to Kanye's career. And he's like, stay away from me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, arguably the moment that she and Kanye shacked up, that's when he went insane.
Yeah.
I mean, he seemed to be normal, leading up to that. I mean, he was just a rapper out of Chicago. You know, he was going back in time, he was really good friends with Common, and Common was out of Chicago. And Common's like a poet. I mean, he was in all kinds of movies and stuff.
Yeah, he's a good actor. Yeah.
Yeah, great dude, right? And then like Kanye just I don't know. I don't know what happened, you know. Maybe the family just drove him insane. I don't know.
Well, the thing is with Kanye for me is that he blames everything that he tries to achieve and gets rejected on, or you know, I know that he was having issues with the banks for a while and stuff like that. They were freezing his accounts and stuff, but everything always and I think this is why he lost a lot of respect and consideration and celebrity status, is because he blamed everything was racism, everything.
Yeah.
And when you start to do that, because you didn't win a Grammy, it's racist, right? And everything that happens, I'm sorry, but eventually people start paying attention to other people, because you become white noise, right? You can't be taken seriously. And you know, I get it. I would probably consider doing the same thing if I was in his kind of a position where it's like, you want to stay relevant, right? How do I stay relevant when I was up for a Grammy and I didn't win it? How do I stay relevant? Do something shocking.
Yeah.
Go up on stage, right? Or whatever. I might not go up on stage and say, well, I'm the one that should have won. I might run up on stage and, you know, make a joke or whatever, you know, pretend, like pull a Jim Carrey or something, and pretend that I heard my name, and then, you know, do some kind of comedy, something like that, right? To stay relevant. And that would kind of steal the show, and it would keep the light on you, kind of thing. Career-wise, it's a smart move. But to go up there and claim that you didn't win because of racism or something like that.
Well, and then not only is he doing that, but he's also ruining someone else's moment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's, I don't know. For me, I don't think Kanye has a leg to stand on when it comes to making an excuse for why his career took a nosedive. I think that he used racism, the race card, as a crutch, and I think that he's just an asshole. Right?
I agree. Okay, so going back in time, you know, I can remember around 05, 06, there was this time period where all of the crazy girls in Hollywood kept wrecking their cars. it was like every week, like somebody like, yeah, she drove into the paparazzi, you know, and then this one drove into the wall over here. And it was Britney, it was Lindsay Lohan, it was Paris Hilton, you know, that they were all kind of doing it. And what's interesting is fast forward to today, right? So Britney apparently had her mental breakdown in 07, went into conservatorship with her dad for 13 years, right? And the other two, as far as I'm aware, did not, though Lindsay Lohan had like the ankle monitor, you know, and like she had like some kind of decorative fashion thing to like cover her anklet. but you know, Paris Hilton, by all accounts, actually comes across halfway semi-normal now, if that's possible, which is kind of odd. But I feel like Britney, like, I don't know if they just heavily intoxicated, drugged her over that 13-year window, but she is not the same. And the interesting thing that I do kind of wonder for the debate is, like, you know, you hear both sides of it today. Like, you know, leading up to her getting out of the conservatorship, there was a lot of talk of like, free Britney and this isn't fair and she deserves a chance and, you know, all these things. And like, we freed her, and it's like, it's time to put her back into the institution. You know what I mean? Like,
leave Britney alone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that guy. Leave Britney alone. Like, dude, like we let her come out, and it's not good, you know?
Have you seen this? I gotta play this clip here for you. Justin Timberlake. Have you seen this yet?
Because
he got arrested for
veering off to the
DUI.
left, and then you're not stopping at the stop signs.
Oh, do we?
Sorry about that.
Is this your vehicle? Whose vehicle is it?
It's just a rental.
It's a rental? Okay. Do you have any registration with it? Do you know if they can put it in the glove box?
Let me check.
What are you visiting?
This was obviously
Yeah,
2024,
on tour.
Okay.
but
What are you
the,
doing?
the video was just released.
I'm on the world tour.
Oh, great.
A
But
world
it's
tour.
just
Doing what?
another example of, you know, it's not unique to celebrities, but they do have a certain level of entitlement when it comes
Yeah.
to this stuff. Like, what are you thinking? You should know better. You should. The bar is higher for you, not lower, right? The odds of you being arrested by some cop or something like that for doing something like this and it making front page news is 10 times, a million times more likely than it is for Joe the farmer driving down the street, right? Coming back from the bar because you are Justin Timberlake, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, I can think of two really good recent examples of piss poor celebrity judgment, right? Example number one was Lindsey Vonn. Like, I don't know if you watched her in the Olympics, right? Like, I think she's in her maybe mid 40s, something like this, right? She hasn't been technically like good or relevant at skiing in at least 15 to 20 years. Okay. So she's like, no, I'm coming back. I'm going for it. I'm coming. She, like you said, it's like, how do you, it reminds me of a bar. It's like, how do you make the bar relevant 20, 30 years later? Right. And that's kind of what she's trying to do, is stay relevant. So she goes out there like the very first day, epic colossal wipeout, like snapped her leg, multiple legs, I think, like broken bones, compound fracture. Like she was on the mountain going, oh, they had to like helicopter her off the mountain. And I was saying to my wife, I'm like, what the hell is she thinking? Like, you haven't been good at this in like 20 years. Like, I get it. You're trying to stay relevant, but my God, like, move into the booth, be a commentator, get the headphones, sit
Do
back.
something else.
Yeah. She doesn't get it that she needs to transition from being in the game to being like a coach or being a commentator. And it's
Yeah.
like, yes, you do, and likewise, another just great example of this is Tiger Woods and his recent car wreck, right? So Tiger Woods flipped another vehicle, and every time he flips a vehicle, I mean, he is like bugged out, right? Like, he is on so many pills, and to that point, I almost don't blame him, because I know he's had just an insane amount of surgeries. Everything's torn, broken, whatever. Like from his peak in golf, he must have been on a lot of like performance enhancing stuff, because ever since he's fallen apart, and he's had something like 8 or 9 like back or neck surgeries, and he's completely pilled out, right? And I sit there and I think, okay, so Tiger Woods has, I mean, what's he worth? $200-400 million at least, if not more.
He's worth $1.5 billion.
Okay, $1.5 billion, and he can't get a driver. He can't
That's
get
what
a driver.
That's what I was just gonna say. I said, why don't you just hire a driver? Like the money you make, like from your name, there's probably so much royalties that this guy makes on the side through brand deals and golf equipment and all kinds of stuff. That alone probably would pay for a driving service wherever, whenever you wanted to. That's exactly the state of mind I was in. Take this man's license away. Why is he driving when he can just afford, no problem, a driving service? He could have a driver on
He
call.
could buy the whole driving school.
Yeah. Right? Like, why? That's what I would do if I would probably forget how to drive over time, because if I had Tiger Woods money, because I would just have a driving service bring me everywhere, bring the car around. Right?
Yeah. I think Tiger, what I really think happened is, I think his dad died and he kind of lost his shit. And then that combined with just this staggering compounding amount of injuries, I think has just kind of like added up over time with him. And I'm sure, leading up to his scandal, where they found out that he was sleeping with like literally everybody. It was like, the maid, the neighbor, the Perkins waitress, the girl from social media, like literally everybody. And apparently prior to that, he was very, very private to the point that he was like untouchable, right? And he had like crazy endorsements like Rolex and all the big stuff like Mercedes. I'm sure it was like Mercedes, one of them. He had all the super fancy stuff endorsements. And then the scandal got out also. And again, that kind of like added to this like thing of like him just going off the deep end. But I keep coming back to like Entourage, and Vinny Chase had a driver. He had Turtle. like where is Tiger Woods' Turtle? Like you need somebody to drive him around in an SUV.
Like Harvey from Suits.
Yeah.
Exactly. There is one celebrity that is the polar opposite of everyone we've talked about so far. Can you guess who it is?
The polar opposite. So you're saying they're doing well or they're doing not well?
Doing fantastic. Always been around for decades. Never heard a peep.
I am a fan of Arnold, but I know he had his own scandal.
Scandals.
Nah, not Arnold. I haven't really ever heard anything about Nicholson or Clint Eastwood. Who else you got?
Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah, love Keanu.
Never.
He just doesn't care. Yeah.
No. Even when you see photos of him with people and stuff, like with women and stuff, I've seen this 100 times. They put their hands around him. He puts his hands behind them. But there's always, you can see his hand on the other side. He never even will touch their back. Right?
Yeah.
He won't even do something like that. The man will not risk any type of scandal accusation whatsoever. He has been the squeaky clean guy. You have never heard a scandal involving Keanu Reeves ever, right?
True. I mean, really the biggest scandal with him was that he was a bass player of I think his band was called Dog Star, and everyone was like, what the hell is this? I remember when that came out.
That's the biggest scandal.
Yeah.
He was in a shitty
or
band.
maybe it was that he was in Bill and Ted's, he was part of Wild Stallions.
Wild Stallions, yes. I've heard a lot about this guy. I've done a lot of reading about Keanu Reeves, and I mean the guy takes the subway all the time, right? I know that his sister had passed away from, I can't remember the type of cancer it was, but his sister had passed away from cancer. And I read that he had given most of his proceeds from the Matrix trilogy to the research of the cancer that took his sister. Right? He didn't even keep. He didn't keep it. He's still completely loaded. Right?
Yeah.
There's clips of buses of tourists driving past his house. There's one recently, and he's outside just grabbing the newspaper, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" He's like doesn't care. He's just a solid, just everyday kind of dude, right?
Yeah.
And
I saw a really good clip, a quote from him recently where it was kind of on the political front, and he was saying something about how, 2 + 2 is 4, but if you think it's 5, good for you. You're right.
You go, man.
Yeah, you just go with that. He's like, I don't give a shit. Just have at it.
You got to admire that about him, right? He doesn't feed into any of the negativities, and he's living his best life.
Yeah, he really is. Now, I would say, maybe a scandal is the last Matrix movie, because God, was that terrible. I don't know if you ever saw it. It was bad. It was not one of his best.
No, it did not hit. I read they're doing another one, though.
Are they?
I read they're going to do another one. I guess they just didn't want to end it like that.
So equally scandalous, semi-celebrity topic. I guess it does kind of fit into today's topic, even though it's not really conservatorship, is the Wachowski brothers who did The Matrix. After the 3 Matrix movie became the Wachowski sisters.
Oh, God.
Seriously, they did. Like
really?
that happened. Yes, both of them. Like, what?
Do you know what the chances are?
I mean, I knew The Matrix was out there, but it's like you're way in your own head and then both of them, like
Yeah, let's be sisters instead.
Okay.
If my brother came to me and said, "Let's be sisters," I'd probably just punch him in the head and say, Get your shit together, dude."
Get it together.
Yeah. Let me just knock some sense into you.
Yeah. That's
But
funny.
you have, but yeah, like, so Keanu Reeves is kind of on the opposite end of that. And there's two celebrities that are perfect examples of their careers just starting to take off, like just starting to take off, and then self-destruct. And I don't know if it's because the pressure gets to them, but I can't remember his name. The guy that was playing on the Marvel movies are the black guy. What's his name? He was playing Khan. No, is it Khan?
Kang.
Kang. Kang. He's
Yeah, he
playing
was supposed
Kang.
to be Kang. Yeah,
That guy. He was starting to get all kinds of roles. He was in
he
the
was a
last.
great actor too. Yeah,
Yeah, he was in Creed. Was it Creed 3?
I think so. Yeah.
Right? And he was signed up in Marvel for multiple movies to play Kang, right? That whole dynasty thing was just taking off. And he was in a few other movies that I saw too. But so his career was just starting to propel. And same thing with Ezra Miller playing the Flash,
Mm.
right? And what happened? Domestic assault, domestic abuse, stuff like that. They just, I think that they just couldn't handle the pressure of the level of celebrity that seemed to be starting to resonate around them, right? And they just go off the deep end. Like it's it was like we talked about with the last video with police. Some police shouldn't be police because they don't have the personalities for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people can't handle that celebrity. It's almost like they start to feel like, well, shit, I can do anything I want. You want to talk smack? Boom, right in the mouth, right? Nailing women and stuff like that. And what happens? Reality sets in. Now your career is destroyed. You know, Marvel's dropping you, or DC Comics is dropping you as an actor, right? And your career just gets flushed because you couldn't stay tethered to reality. And I think that, I think that's why you see a lot of celebrities who, like a lot of, let's say men, for example, who stay with the woman they were with before they became famous. And I think that woman that they were with before they became famous helps keep them tethered.
Yeah, like LeBron, you know? Look at LeBron, right?
Yeah.
Same wife, whole time.
Yeah. She just didn't teach him, how to act very well.
Hey, so what about on the kind of like the Me Too side about Kevin Spacey, right? Kevin Spacey, arguably amazing actor, incredible acting skills, very good. He gets accused by multiple men of hitting on them. And, later, like, he denies everything. But since he's sort of just been like ostracized from Hollywood, from movies, from everything. And, I remember thinking about him at different times, like, he plays a really good serial killer. He plays a really good, like in House of Cards, like Seven. House of Cards, he's like this maniacal, sadistic politician that stops at nothing, that he's semi-gay and he's in the closet, but he could easily kill you, and he kills somebody, he pushes someone in front of a train, whatever. And, it's funny because I think a lot of actors sort of get like pigeonholed at kind of who they are. And I remember thinking with him, it's like, I don't know if he's just playing a really good serial killer, and he's just playing that he's closeted gay. Like, it turns out he actually is gay, and he kind of could be a serial killer. I don't know.
Yeah. I really do like his acting. Yeah, I agree with you. 100%.
Great actor. Yeah.
Robert De Niro, another one who's just lost so much respect from people because of his just anti-Trump rhetoric.
He hates Trump's guts. Hates his guts. Yeah.
And we've talked about this before. I think one of the biggest mistakes, and Keanu Reeves is a perfect example of it, one of the biggest mistakes celebrities make is pushing out their political narrative.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you self-destruct. I have no idea where Keanu Reeves stands on the political spectrum. No idea. Nor do I want to know where he stands on it, right? Now, guess what? I can just enjoy his movies without every time me seeing his face, seeing him ranting about how much he hates Trump or ranting about how much, like, I don't want to know. I want to watch a movie, right?
Well, it's the don't bring your politics into the workplace. And likewise, for the studio who's making the movie, they need to have actors who are the most appealing to the broadest group of people, right? So when you make political statements, I mean, yeah, they're very polarizing one way or the other, and you got to kind of, again, like, have a little awareness. But I think with some of them, I mean, De Niro, I mean, he's been making movies since what, the 70s, maybe late 60s. So, I mean, he doesn't care at this point. He just kind of says anything, right? But, one celebrity that I kind of wanted to go back to, that I sort of, in the same way that I think you lost respect for De Niro, that I lost like all respect for, was Will Smith, right?
I was going to bring him up.
Yeah, my God, man, Will Smith. So, guilty is charged. I watched The Fresh Prince. I could probably still sing you the whole theme song.
Yeah.
It's like burned into my brain forever. Like I even liked him as a rapper, and like some of his rap songs I thought were great. And I think that his relationship with Jada is so freaking weird. Like, they're one of those like weirdo kind of celebrity couples where she was like banging the pool guy and banging the tennis coach and banging whoever.
She banged their son's best friend or something like that.
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah. And like, she's been public about all this stuff, and it's like, what? And they're like, yeah, and we're still married. And it's like, what? Like, what are you doing? And clearly it was in his head at the Oscars where, he goes up on stage, he assaults Chris Rock. I mean, he slapped the shit out of him, like, on stage. And then he's yelling at the top of his lungs, take my wife's name out your effing mouth, and it's like, dude, like, you crossed the line, man.
You know what I think happened there? Now, as a man, I can tell you, and I'm sure you can too. I mean, there's times where, like, I've dated women and stuff like that where they're just like complete fucking wet blankets, right? Complete. You can't enjoy a second of life without them sucking all the energy out of the room, right? And it seems like Jada is that person, right?
Yeah.
And this is just speculation for me, but I'm just trying to put myself in Will's shoes, because when Chris made his joke, Will laughed. It was a good time, and then he looked over at Jada, and she gave him that look. And I think that was just like the tipping point. I don't think that slap had anything to do with Chris Rock whatsoever.
No, not at all. No.
I think he was just like, you know what? This bitch, right? I'm going to let it out. I'm going to let it out because, once again, I'm trying to have a good time. Here we are. I was looking forward to this night, and here she is. He knows, based on the look on her face, she's going to ruin my evening tonight when we get into private, right? And he's like, you know what? And he just snapped. He walked up there, smacked the shit out of Chris Rock, came back, and was still screaming. And I think that honestly think it had anything to do with Chris Rock whatsoever. I don't think he found the joke offensive or anything. Obviously, he was laughing beforehand. I think that look Jada gave him, and that was just enough was enough. This bitch drives me crazy, and now she's going to ruin this night for me, and he just let it out on Chris's face. That's what I think happened.
Yeah, could be. I got to say that after that happened, I mean, this is the Oscars, right? This isn't like, you were at Walmart and you got in a fight in the aisle or something. This is literally the Oscars. I mean, this is like hallowed ground for the entertainment industry. And that's where you do that. Like, I thought they should have arrested his ass. I mean, they absolutely should have. That's assault. It happened right there. Everybody saw it. The cops should have came out and handcuffed him.
I think they talked about it, and Chris, I saw later that night, Chris had said, no, I don't, that he didn't want to file charges or whatever. But I agree with you. Like, it was completely, and I don't blame them for not wanting him there anymore. But for me, if I'm Jada, for example, when was the last time she was relevant?
Well, she did the Matrix 3, I think. I think she was in the
Two
first
and three.
Matrix. 2 and
She
3,
was
yeah.
two
And
and three.
prior to that, the funny thing was when she and Will got together, the only thing she had ever done was she was in a movie with one the older Wayans, not any of the guys from like Scary Movie, but
Like Damon
um
Wayans or
no, it wasn't Damon. It was the other one that was on In Living Color. Anyway, she was in the movie with him, and she was like, the actress kind of, alongside his main character in the movie, and that was it.
Yeah.
And so she never really did a whole lot, and then all of a sudden it was like she's just married to Will Smith, and then they have all these kids, and then all of a sudden they have this really weird Hollywood life that's just like embarrassing and
Well, and
odd.
that's kind of what I was getting at was like for me, I mean, Chris Rock made the joke, right? You haven't been relevant in decades, and he just kind of mentioned you and kind of made you relevant for a couple minutes there where people are like, "Oh, Jada Smith, right? Yeah, it was a joke at your expense, but it was a joke nevertheless." The
Yeah.
joke when they joke about someone like that, like another celebrity, usually it means that they acknowledge and respect you. That's what roasts are all about, right? So it kind of brought a little bit of relevancy to her, even not for just a minute or two. And for her to go that way with it, I don't know. I think she's toxic. I think, again, it's another example of, a relationship, and it goes both ways. It's not just women, a relationship that's just so toxic that it drives the other person insane and
Yeah.
makes them do stuff that they just normally wouldn't do, right? Like you said, I had all the respect in the world for. I respected him and I still do, as an actor, as an artist. Like I'm not the biggest rapper fan, but he did come out with that one banging album around the millennium, right? Big Willie
Mhm.
style or whatever. There was a
Yep.
lot of good songs on that album, right? Miami and like Big Willie style and all that stuff. We're getting jiggy with it, whatever, right? He
You're going
did.
to listen to it after the show.
Yeah, it's on the list. Yeah, it's my new gym playlist.
I'm going to Miami.
Yeah, and I think Will can recover though. I think he's good enough to recover from something like that. I think that he should probably do something. I don't know if him and
He's got
Chris.
to leave her. They have to split. They have to.
Well,
I mean,
from what I've been seeing, he actually did. He's overseas, and I've been watching. Like, there's been little clips popping up of him dancing with other women in clubs and stuff like that, and
yeah.
having the time of his kind of living his best life. I think they're kind of separated right now.
God, let's hope so.
Yeah.
I honestly, after he did that to Chris Rock, I mean, Chris Rock is like one of my comedy heroes. I was like, that was just so out of left field and unprofessional that I was like, I haven't watched a single thing he's been in since. And when it comes up, I'm like, nope. Then I don't even look at anything he does anymore. But
Mhm.
I agree that, we're always looking for a comeback, but I think you also got to like do it the right way too. And I don't know if he ever fixed that situation. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's like he just sort of like time went on,
I think that eventually him and Chris will, because from what they both said, they've been friends for decades, right? Will and Chris. So I wouldn't be shocked that at some point they put the water under the bridge when Jade is out of the picture, and then you'll see some sort of comedy thing, or you'll see something where they do something together, him and Chris. There'll be a movie or a show or something, and then they'll probably make fun of themselves for the situation. I think that's the best way to kind of recover from it, right? Is to do something like that. They're both comedians, they're both funny guys. I think eventually you will see something like that happen where they make fun of themselves for that in situation after enough time passes, where it's. So
Yeah.
I don't think that really destroyed either of their careers. I understand the uproar and stuff. I was watching it live, and which is odd for me because I never watch the Grammys or the Oscars or anything, right? Because it's just not interesting like it was in the 90s.
Yeah.
Nobody cares anymore, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought it was a gimmick.
Hmm.
I was like, this. I'm waiting for the punchline here, right? Like, what's going on? It's starting to. Okay,
Yeah, it's getting
too much
awkward.
time. Too much time has passed. It's feeling awkward now. I don't think the punchline's gonna hit.
Hey, you know what would be funny? Like a good way for them to kind of move past that. I've thought about this for a while. Is if they filmed a skit like in a parking lot or something, and Will's there, like, all right, let's get it over with. Smacks the shit out
Smack
of
me
me. Come on,
back.
let's do it. And then you have Chris Rock agree to it, but then sort of step off to the side and have like a proxy, like one of those professional
Mike
slap
Tyson.
guys, to slap the shit out of him. Like that would, like, if he did that, I'd be like, all right, I'll watch your movies again. You know?
Yeah, and they probably will. They probably will. You know, he'll blindfold him, and you'll see Mike Tyson come out or something like that, and just poof. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Will do the fake dummy Will flying through the air like on the Will Smith show.
Right. You know, I used to love in the late 90s when they would do the fake dummy, like especially on Married with Children. They did that all the time. And there was an episode, I don't know if you ever saw this one. It was my all-time favorite Married with Children episode, where Al is installing a satellite dish. And literally the whole episode is like they're making jokes about guys falling off the roof. Like he falls off, Jefferson falls off, one of the guys falls, and then, you know, they throw the dummy down and it's going like head first right into the pavement, you know. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that stuff was amazing back in the 90s because it was on the nose, right? It was like you knew, and I think that they relied too much on special effects now and stuff like that. Like, bring that back, especially when you're doing comedy, because that's the point. It's on the nose. We know it's a dummy. You know it's a dummy, but it's hilarious, right? Like, bring that back. I think they should bring that back on TV shows, on sitcoms and stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I think
yeah.
you know, ultimately with this whole topic, I think there's a lot of celebrities that just sort of need somebody normal around them, right? To be like, hey, you know, let's maybe not do that. Like Tiger, like I see you looking at the keys. You're not getting the keys. Like they're locked in my room. I'm the driver. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of these people, they just sort of need somebody to keep them like in check. And if they're not careful, like a Bieber, like somebody like that, I mean, he could easily be the next dead celebrity that, you know, we find out he's OD'd on heroin or something like that, you know?
Pull the David Carradine.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, the belt around the neck, right? Just like the singer of In Excess, same deal, you know?
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And like I said earlier, I think, you know, I got to agree with my wife when she says that it's like you become numb to everything and you got to search in a different way to get that exhilaration or that, you know, endorphin release or whatever the case might be, right? And maybe that's true. I like to think that I would be rather or relatively tethered to reality if I, you know, became a celebrity and stuff. But I'm a pretty irritated guy. Like, I don't like people. So, I mean,
well, it may not go well with the paparazzi then.
hey, you want to come snap pictures of me while I play World of Warcraft by myself with a bag of Cheetos? Go ahead, man. I don't give a shit, right?
Yeah.
Just keep it
well,
down.
you know, I mean, you know, that is an aspect of it too, right? Like when you're a celebrity, you kind of, you're always on, you know, there's always somebody trying to do something to you or be in your face or buzzing around. And I'm sure at times they do probably just snap and they've kind of had enough. But I mean, equally at the same time, I mean, you get some of these like weird celebrity break-ins and stuff. Like, I don't know if you've heard about all those. I mean, I would be pretty leery about living in like LA and some of these areas unless I had like a full-blown security team, you know?
Yeah, a pack of Shiba Inu dogs running around my yard, my property. They're aggressive little fuckers, right?
Sick 'em.
Yeah. But I think I like to think I would be more like what's his name, Henry Cavill?
Cavill, yeah.
Cavill?
Yeah, Superman, right?
Yeah, he always talks about how, like, people always ask him, like, you know, he's a single guy, he's not married, and he stays out of, same thing as Keanu Reeves, he stays out of all the controversies people ask him. It's like, I just stay home and play World of Warcraft. That's what he does. He talks about it all the time. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What,
Hey.
what do you do on a weekend? I raid.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you don't need to be at every club at all times. You know, you don't need to be in that scene.
Yeah.
I even saw like a thing just the other day, you know, like I think you and I are nearly the exact same age. And, you know, some of the people are celebrities now. I have no idea who they are. Right. I saw one
Yeah.
the other day and it was talking about this girl was some sort of social media influencer and she got ran over because she got in a verbal altercation with some other girl at the club, and then they're outside the club yelling at each other, and the other girl gets in her car and she's still yelling at her, and then the girl in the car runs her over and like killed her.
Wow.
It's like what? Like what? Like
Why are
it,
you even there?
why are you at the club? You know, like what are you doing? You know, kind of like what we were talking about earlier. You know, like with just the substance abuse and stuff like that. Like don't you like yourself enough to not do that shit? Like, couldn't you live in a just an amazing life and not be on anything? I mean, look at like Tom Cruise, you know? He's
Yeah.
like a fighter pilot, a daredevil, a stunt guy, a skydiver, you
Yeah.
know? I mean,
Well, like for me, exactly. I kind of have that attitude about me where it's like there's so much this world has to offer, and I mean, like for example, like I've been talking a lot about going to the Great Wall of China because I haven't been there. Right? I got a bucket list of places that I'm going to go in my life, and that list just keeps growing. I'm going to go to the Great Wall of China. I'm going to do my best to travel the whole damn thing. Right? Why? Because I want to just pull out a lawn chair, sit down on the Great Wall of China, and just absorb the history and everything of just being appreciating the fact that I'm there and just be in the moment. Like there's so many places in this world you could do stuff like that, right? And just like you could do the you don't even have to be religious too. You could do the walk the walk in of Jesus, for example, right? Same walk that he did. You can fly out and do that and experience that. You can just all kinds of stuff like that you could do. Like, why do you need drugs? Why do you need, that kind of stuff? I
well,
don't know. I don't understand it.
I think what it is they simply just don't have a foundation. There's no foundation under the house. And if
Yeah.
you don't have a foundation, the house is going to crumble at some point, right? So you may have this fancy mansion that you built basically on this career of whatever, but there's no foundation, you know? So at some point, the whole thing is just kind of crumbling away. And then likewise, I think, this idea of trying to stay relevant, to be relevant, like you gotta just move on from that. Like people will like you for you if you just do what you're good at. Which again, like you and I talk about sometimes. I was talking to my wife just the other day about Stranger Things. That the cast that's in that show, they're all quick to like be done with it. It's like, oh, we got to be done. Just like Game of Thrones, we got to be done with it. I'm ready to turn the page. I want to go be a musician now. Like a couple of them are in like rock bands, and it's like you got to realize like that's going to be fleeting. Like this thing and this person that you were in this show, like that's what literally everyone knows you for, and everyone loves that. And you need to keep living it up because that's what you'll always be remembered for, is that thing.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that in the past. How there's these actors that talk about how whether male or female, they don't want to be typecast and stuck in a certain role forever. I don't want to be this character. You're Harry Potter's, right? You're stuff like that. And they're like, I don't want to be a one-trick pony. Every single, probably hundreds of millions of, that may be an exaggeration, but there's probably millions of actors out there, failed actors or actors that are semi-successful, who would give anything for that one role that they can milk for their entire career, that you can just Mr. Bean milk that thing
Yeah.
for everything it was worth.
Yeah.
You never saw him go, I don't want to be typecast. He just made his money for his whole life, right?
Bean.
Yeah. Like same thing, like just embrace it. Just embrace it. That's a role that so many actors, they strive for that one role, that one breakout role that will just forever be universal. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, right? Harry Potter. Like I said, there's roles, and it's just like that's who you are. Full stop.
Did
Nope,
you ever see on Netflix BoJack Horseman? You ever see that show?
no, I don't. It sounds familiar.
Okay, so it's like a cartoon, and Will Arnett's the voice of BoJack Horseman, and it's kind of like loosely based on like Bob Saget, like Full House. And it's like, yeah, he was on this 1980s sitcom where he was like the dad of the show and everything was great and he made all his money. And now it's like 20 years later and he's just like this washed up addict, and he can't figure anything out and no one knows him as anything else but the dad on the sitcom show. And it's like his whole life is just like this train wreck following the show, and it's like, it just be the dad in the show. Like, you volunteered for this. Clearly it worked well and you were very good at it. And like, that's the part that's going right over their heads is like, you were really, really good at this thing that you say that you don't want to do.
I don't want to be typecast. Well, I mean, it's not really up to you, right?
You're an entertainer. That's what happens,
Yeah. And it's funny because if you had asked them before they become successful in that role, if you could go to them and say, listen, we can offer you a role. You're going to be incredibly successful at it. People are going to love the character that you're playing, right? Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, whatever the case might be, right? But the catch is you're only going to be successful at that role, and you got to stick with that. They would take it in the drop of a dime. I think they get their agents and their family and the people around them talking in their ears. Now's the time to strike while the iron's hot and expand into something else. And you know what I mean? And then I don't want to do this anymore. Now I want to do something bigger. And, like you see that with a lot of actors that try to transition from TV shows to movies. Right. And it's just a lot of times it just doesn't. Look at Friends, the cast of Friends.
Oh, none of them have done anything. Right.
Yeah. They've all tried.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just like people don't want to see, Ross, what's his name?
David Schwimmer. Yeah.
David Schwimmer. We don't want to see you play something else. We want you to be Ross.
Yeah, you're
right?
Ross.
See?
You're Ross.
Yeah. Chandler, Joey, Matthew Perry. He tried to do some stuff with Bruce Willis. They did a few of those movies. I can't remember what they're called. The Hitman movies or the comedies, right? Yeah. But
Expendable, right? Was it Expendables?
No, the whole 9 yards. I think it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it didn't work out, right? They were okay, but you're Chandler, dude, right? Like just be Chandler.
Be Chandler.
Even the most successful, like Sarah Michelle Gellar, Rachel, what's her name?
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox. Even those were the two arguably biggest stars outside of Friends. And even their careers after Friends didn't really, Courtney Cox had the Scream series, right? Which was okay.
Yeah. She had Ace Ventura. She was in the first Ace Ventura.
Yeah. And Rachel there, Jennifer Aniston, she tried to do a few movies afterwards too, and it didn't work out. That's who you are. The Friends cast, and I get it. How many seasons of Friends was there? 10 or 11 or something?
A lot, yeah.
I get it. You can only do a TV show for so long. But can you? There's a lot of TV shows out there that have been around since they're like afternoon, what do you call them? Dramas or whatever, like Days of Our Lives and, all that kind of stuff. Those shows have been around. They just bring in different characters and it's been going for 45 years, as long as I've been alive, right?
Yeah, they just keep
Let's
going.
Watch Days of Our Lives, season 62.
If there is a season, that's insane. I think, with going back to Robert Downey Jr., he's an interesting one, right? Because he was kind of like an 80s star. He kind of had that period of time where he got way into drugs, went off the deep end. Marvel arguably saved his life when they turned him into Iron Man. And he left Marvel to say, okay, done being Iron Man. He did his serious movie, Oppenheimer, right? Which I think he might have got an Oscar in that. He was excellent. Mm-hmm. But I like that he came back to the MCU. Like he's realized it, like, okay, Like we had our run, that was great. I'm done with Iron Man, but you know what? I really like this thing and I know I'm really good at it, so I'm back. Like, I love that. You're like, yeah, but like, come on back, like that's what we love you in. Everybody loves you in Marvel,
Yeah. Yeah, I love that attitude. Yeah, as long as people will watch them, we'll keep making them, right? I remember watching an interview with Eddie Murphy, and they asked him about Shrek, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was one of those late night talk shows or whatever, and they asked him about Shrek, and he said they're like, how many times are you going to go back and play Donkey? And his answer was really quite simple: as long as people want to go to the movies and watch Shrek movies, I'll keep making them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's an amazing attitude to have, right? It's what your fans want to see, and I'm sure he has fun doing it, right?
Mhm.
Otherwise, he probably wouldn't want to. So, but yeah, like with Robert Downey Jr., he probably arguably made the Marvel Cinematic Universe as big as it was, playing that character. I mean, would the Avengers movies and that whole universe be as successful as it was without Robert Downey Jr.
No
playing
way.
Iron Man?
No way.
No chance.
Yeah, no way.
Like, he played Iron Man in like so many movies, even guest starring in Spider-Man and all these other movies, right? Is just always there. And I love that he's coming back as Doctor Doom now, right? And just he's there still, right?
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe because they're, crossing all these cinematic universes together in the movies, maybe he'll play Iron Man as well as Doom, and who knows, right? Like, I'm saying, people want him there, he's there, I love it, right? And he embraces it. But I remember he did he won an award, like you said. I think it was for Oppenheimer, like you were talking about. What was it, an Oscar or something like that? And he thanked Mel Gibson. I don't know if you saw that speech.
No, I don't think I did.
He thanked Mel Gibson. He said that when he was at his lowest, he had been arrested, and it was the drugs and all that stuff. And he said Mel Gibson called him on the phone, and I think he went and stayed at Mel Gibson's house for a while.
Really?
And he said that Mel Gibson led him to his faith in Jesus Christ and all that stuff. And he told him, he said, I don't know how to get through this. And Mel told him, you got to hug the cactus. He said he calls it hugging the cactus, right? Which means taking responsibility and accountability for your past and embracing it as part of who you are, and move forward and learn from your mistakes. And Mel Gibson calls it hugging the cactus. So he said, that's what I did. I hugged the cactus, and here I am today, right? And he attributed it to Mel Gibson giving him that phone call and helping him out. So
that's pretty cool. Mel Gibson has been, I think, maybe somewhat of a controversial actor in recent years.
Yeah.
But I actually always thought he was an excellent actor and probably an even better director. Like, he had that string of like where he did like The Patriot, and he did the movie in like South America, then he did The Passion of the Christ, and it was just like, wow, like one after another. And I think he's gotten to the point now that he just kind of, like, if you don't like what he has to say, it's like, well, F off, like it just kind of is what it is with him,
He's doing a sequel to The Passion of the Christ.
Is he? Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's about the resurrection of Christ afterwards, right? So same actor who played Jesus Christ and everything is signed on to do it. So I think it'll be good. So
yeah.
I have a lot of respect for Mel Gibson. I think he's a straight shooter. I think he's one of those guys who stayed out of the trouble as well. So
he did. Yeah. I mean, I think he had like some sort of scandal with like a cop or getting arrested or something like that. But again, I mean, nothing like some of these other ones,
Yeah, he got pulled over or something, and he'd made some sort of a comment that got taken as racist, and I don't remember what it was. I mean, we're talking probably early 2000s, late 90s, like long time ago, right? But yeah, that's, like you said, I think he's a great actor, great director, great writer, old school, man. I love it.
Yeah.
But I guess that about wraps up this episode of The Paradigm Shift. Let us know, guys, obviously, in the comment section, if you're watching on YouTube, what you think about the topic today. Let us know what topics you'd like us to cover as well. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Give us a 10-star rating if you're watching on, or if you're listening over on Spotify or Apple or any of our other, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure you give us a 5-star review there. It'd be greatly appreciated. Support the channel. Support what we do, guys. Much, much appreciated. Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. The celebrity game is a crazy game. You got to keep your head on your shoulders, stay grounded, and, embrace what you're good at. That's all I would say. And the ones that don't do that, well, those are the train wrecks that we read about and see on a daily basis.
If you become a celebrity and you get rich, just don't be a jerk.
Yeah, get a driver. Get a driver.
Get a driver.
Somebody get Tiger Woods a driver. I mean, somebody has to be friends with him. Just send him a driver. If he's not going to do it, just send him one.
Yeah, I'll DM it. I'll DM him myself and say, hey, you pay me this much, I'll drive you around, bro. Right?
Right.
All right, guys. Till the next time, God bless.
Shift out.